Well, hello there. Why is it that every time I'm actually doing something else important, some random video idea would just pop into my head? Check out my curved monitor. This thing is a workhorse of a machine. So I'm editing right here, checking out my old content right here, designing my courses right here, and I just got done with a one-on-one class, which honestly inspired the content of today, which is how to conquer and excel at small talk. So stay tuned after the intro. As a former/current, hold on, let me just close this window because it's kind of cringe having my face just looking to the left. The way I look at small talk is roughly broken down to two segments. So one big segment is dealing with the social aspect, right? It's the kind of stuff that non-native speakers and native speakers alike have to get through, and this is more universal. But then there's part two, which is what us non-native speakers have to struggle through. And it doesn't matter if, let's say, you got a perfect score in IELTS or TOEFL, or you were pretty proficient in English. As non-native speakers, especially if you're just fresh off the boat, it can be uncomfortable being in a new environment, talking to strangers. Some of it has to do with the substance of your speech, namely what you talk about and what's on your mind, what topics to talk about. But other stuff has to do with just the style of your speech. It has to do with slang, idioms, everyday expressions, and age-appropriate lingo, right? You don't want to be talking like a professor to an 18-year-old sleepover. That's an oddly specific group. So let's talk about the first segment. If I ever get invited to a party or a get-together that I actually like, I personally would do my best, and I suggest that you do your best. And so all it comes down to is just basic manners, right? Be present, like put your phone away. Actually act like you care about being there. Actually act like you're excited and you're excitable. Like, don't be too cool for school. Put your goddamn phone away and stop taking selfies. You kind of have to resist the urge to do what's comfortable. If it gets like too uncomfortable, like nobody was giving you the time of day, just leave. But don't be there and not be there, like mentally. Don't physically be there and not be there mentally. If the party is somewhat decent and people are trying to have a good time, just experiment a little bit. Let yourself feel excited. You don't have to be the goofiest, the funniest guy in the room. You can just be yourself. But it starts with letting other people see you. Number two, this is kind of a counterintuitive mentality, which is don't be scared to exit out of a conversation. Whenever I go into a conversation, especially in a group setting, right? I'm not just talking to one person. I basically have a clock in my head that's ticking and signaling to me roughly when to leave. So if I'm just meeting you for the first time, I have like 30 seconds to 1 minute. Doesn't mean I won't come back, but in the initial interaction, I give myself like a deadline to exit out of that conversation, which honestly brings out the best in me, because when I'm talking to you and I know I can get out of this conversation, I bring my best self forward. Whereas if I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm stuck with this person, I have no incentive to actually get to know you. Mentality number three is to put the focus on other people. So a lot of times when you feel awkward and self-conscious, like it's all about yourself, right? But when you put the focus on other people, when you're just curious about what they're about, what they do, and what makes them interesting, and their life story, even if it's not really that interesting, but when you put the focus on other people, you're basically having this scavenger hunt mentality, right? Like you're at the party for a reason. Like you have a quota in your head. Like you're not just there to chill. Like you actually want to get some information out of it. It gives your brain something to focus on. And second of all, it takes your insecurities out of the equation. Like you're not thinking of yourself. You're not thinking of, oh, I should have said that. I should have acted that way. Or am I cool? Do I have a booger on my face? No, none of that. All these mentalities are there as a stepping stone for you to actually be able to communicate, say stuff, and stuff of substance. So segment 2 is all about the language. Very first step, you have to make sure, you have to pass a certain level of fluency, right? You can't be struggling with basic communication. If you're struggling with even coming up with the sentence, if you're struggling with even understanding what the native speakers are trying to say, then it's not a small talk thing, right? That's when you come to me. Just a little shameless plug, assuming that you can communicate just fine. The step number one is to actually have some language input. Because when you're talking to people, when you're speaking about something that you feel passionate about, at any given moment, you're basically giving a monologue. In order to have a paragraph prepared in your head off the cuff, like I'm doing right now, you have to actually, first of all, read up on this topic or watch videos on this topic. So you have to have certain input. And more importantly, you have to have some sort of output too. So I every day write a diary, and sometimes they're not even good, but it gets me going. It gets me used to the idea of putting thoughts together, putting words together, putting ideas together. So when I'm speaking to a person, it's not the very first time I've come up with an original idea in that day. If you want to be somewhat eloquent and articulate and have interesting ideas at a party, before the party, like 2 months before the party even, like that's a lifestyle. I feel like most people, myself included, have gotten used to just going about life almost in this autopilot mode where you don't feel anything, you don't think about things, or you think what everybody else thinks. Whereas I want you to become a content creator, or a creator rather, or stop being an audience of things and become the active participants, the active judge and critic and curator of your life. Put things together, put ideas together, try things out, write essays, even just for yourself. Write your opinions down about something, or record videos just for yourself. The point is, I want you to come to a party already prepared with some ideas and topics in your head. And it's not a one-time thing. Like, I don't want you to do this for a big party. Like, it's not gonna work like that. It's like working out, right? You don't want to work out when you need to look hot in a brand new dress, when you want to impress a guy. You want to work out because it makes you healthy, it makes your body healthy. And then when you've maintained that lifestyle for God knows how long, for months on end, then spontaneously, if a guy were to ever come up to your doorstep, you won't feel so unprepared, right? Because you're always ready. If you're always ready, you won't have to get ready. So if you're always ready for a social interaction, even with just one person, you won't have to get ready to actually have stuff to talk about. And it applies to your Chinese social circle. Tip number 2 in this language segment is to polish your style. This is not the substance of your speech. This is fluff. It's all the bells and whistles, right? It's all the embellishments. So things like everyday expressions, slang, idioms, and I was saying earlier, age-appropriate lingo. So the way that 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds and Gen Zs talk about things varies majorly from the way that 40-year-olds talk about things. Go on Amazon, look up some books that have American idioms, American slang, and just everyday expressions. There are so many, like I can recommend a few books on that, but Google even is your best friend. And TikTok, check out their comment section. Check out Reddit, YouTube, anything that has young people talking and writing, that's your best friend. You don't have to talk like that all the time. You don't have to use slang in every sentence, but just knowing that gives you a sense of assurance. At least when other people mention it, you won't be caught off guard, right? You know what they're talking about. Focus 70 to 80% of your energy on the substance of your speech. Get writing, get reading, watch videos, think about stuff, form an opinion, record videos, but then 20 to 30% on fluff. Okay, so my camera battery just died, so I'm recording the outro on my phone. But I basically wrapped up everything, and I just have one more thing to add. Have an adventurous spirit. You could be shy and still want to have fun, right? You could be shy and still curious. You could be shy and be a good listener when the time comes and a good opportunity presents itself for you to speak your piece. Don't be so self-conscious that it stops you from having some fun. Even just for a moment, know that you can leave anytime. Know that it doesn't have to be serious. Nobody is grading your conversations, and don't take everything so seriously. You don't have to give the answers that they were looking for. You can make it your own question. For instance, if someone were to ask you, oh, what you do for a living, you can be like, yes. Sometimes I tell them the truth. Like, I'm an English teacher. I make videos online. But other times I'm just like, oh, I'm a glorified unemployed individual, and we have a laugh at it. It depends on like who you're talking to and what occasion, but I would say most of the time, the conversation doesn't have to be serious. If you can poke fun at yourself, you get closer to people a lot faster. And it's more fun that way. So yeah, this is my advice to you. Report back to me on how these tips may have helped you. Yeah, I hope to hear some good news. All right, ciao.